Do you know that the famous dance scene between Uma Thurman and John Travolta in Pulp Fiction was completely improvised? Get ready to learn 50 surprising movie facts you probably didn't know about, like this one. If you want to know more amazing facts, don't forget to subscribe before we start. In this Candyman scene, Tony Todd had to fill his mouth with real bees. He was stung several times, but his professionalism allowed the scene to be filmed flawlessly. To play Catwoman in Batman Returns, Michelle Pfeiffer had to wear a vacuum-sealed suit, meaning no contact with air, which made it difficult for her to move and breathe. The actress described the experience as stifling and claustrophobic. The filming of The Conqueror took place in a location with high levels of radiation in the Snow Canyon Desert in Utah, ignoring warnings about the potential risks. Decades later, the cast and crew suffered terrible consequences with a high number of cases of cancer. John Wayne, the main character who played Genghis Khan, died of stomach cancer, along with 91 other people out of the 220 who participated in the film. The film The Silence of the Lambs was the first and only horror film to date to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. It won 7 Oscars in 1992. The 1960 film Psycho is not only a classic horror film, but it was also groundbreaking in many ways. One of them, which is perhaps not as widely known, is that it was the first film in which a toilet was shown. The film American Gigolo not only cemented Richard Gere as a sex icon, but also launched the then little-known fashion designer Giorgio Armani to fame. Gere's impeccable wardrobe in the film, made entirely of Armani pieces, captivated the public and critics, catapulting the Italian designer to international stardom with his well-known brand. In the famous film Black Swan, Natalie Portman had to pay for her own ballet classes to dance in the film before her hiring was confirmed. In the film Twilight, we find a special cameo by the author of the saga, Stephenie Meyer. During a scene in a restaurant in which Bella and Charlie share a meal, we can see in a wide shot a woman dressed with red hair and black hair and using a laptop. That woman is none other than Stephenie Meyer. In the film Desperate, director Robert Rodriguez confessed in an interview that the day they filmed the love scene between Salma Hayek and Antonio Banderas, the entire production team showed up to watch the scene. However, Robert didn't let anyone pass, except obviously the actors, himself and the screenwriter. The character who inspired It, the terrifying clown from Stephen King's novel, is John Wayne Gacy, a serial killer who dressed up as a clown to attract his victims. He murdered 33 young people between 1972 and 1978. In the film The Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio plays Hugh Glass, a trapper who is brutally attacked and left for dead in the vast wilderness of North America. To bring this character to life, despite being a vegetarian, DiCaprio decided to eat a piece of real bison liver for one of the scenes in the film. In addition to this, DiCaprio learned to shoot muskets, light campfires, and speak 2 Native American languages. In the movie Pretty Woman, there is a prank scene where Richard Gere gives Julia Roberts a diamond necklace and suddenly closes the case, causing her to burst out laughing. This was an improvisation. Gere came up with that little joke to break the solemnity of the scene, but Julia Roberts' natural reaction was so cute that they decided to leave it in the movie. In the French movie Amélie, the adorable protagonist played by Audrey Tautou has a scene that has become one of the most iconic in the movie, but it hides a secret. Tautou did not know how to bounce stones in water in real life, which is why they had to use special effects for this scene. The face of Ariel, the iconic Disney mermaid, holds a fascinating secret. She was inspired by the beauty of one of the most popular actresses of the time, Alyssa Milano, known for her role in the series Charmed, was considered a beauty icon in the 1980s. Chris Pratt, known for his role as Star-Lord in the film Guardians of the Galaxy, is not only a hero in fiction, but also in real life. In a show of kindness and empathy, Pratt decided to wear his suit from the set to visit sick children in hospitals. What a beautiful gesture, right? Many fans of Pulp Fiction have wondered how Mia Wallace, Uma Thurman, comes back to life after a heroin overdose. The scene where Vincent Vega, John Travolta, injects her heart with adrenaline has a fascinating editing trick. Vincent is actually taking the syringe out of Mia's body. The scene was filmed normally and then rewound to create the illusion that Vincent is injecting her with adrenaline. The scene in Aliens Resurrection, where Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, shoots a basketball was not a camera trick. Weaver herself executed the shot with admirable precision, capturing the surprise and delight of the audience. In a memorable scene from the film Fight Club, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton's characters embark on soap making. What many don't know is that the actors didn't just act out the scene, they actually learned how to make soap on the set. On Oscar night 2022, Troy Kotsur became the first deaf actor to win the statuette for Best Supporting Actor for his role in the film CODA. Want to know 3 movies that made the mistake of showing a recording camera? Let's start with Gladiator, where during a scene in the Colosseum, you can see a modern camera in the back. Then in The Matrix, you can see a camera reflected in a mirror. And finally, in Back to the Future 3, you can see someone pushing a cart where the camera that records the sequence is. Contrary to popular belief, Tinkerbell's face was not inspired by Marilyn Monroe. The real inspiration for Tinkerbell's face was Margaret Carey, an American actress and dancer. In the movie Deadpool, Stan Lee, the legendary comic book creator, has a cameo as a DJ at a striptease. Dooley Wilson, the actor who played the memorable Sam in the movie Casablanca, was a renowned professional drummer. However, a curious fact that many don't know is that he didn't know how to play the piano. In the iconic scenes in Casablanca where Sam plays the piano, Wilson faked the movements while a professional pianist played off-screen. In the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Steve Carell personally experienced an actual chest waxing session for a specific scene in the film. His reactions and screams of pain during the scene were completely genuine, adding authenticity to the acting and the situation depicted on screen. During the 2017 Oscars ceremony, La La Land was mistakenly announced as the Best Picture winner before the error was corrected, and the real winner was revealed to be Moonlight. Ever wondered how many balloons are in the flying house in Up? There were a total of 10.297 balloons lifting up Carl Fredrikssen's house. The French short film Le Manoir du Diable, The Devil's Mansion, released in 1896, is recognized as the first horror film in history. This work by Georges Méliès, lasting just 3 minutes, begins with a giant bat flying into a gloomy mansion. The bat transforms into Mephistopheles, the devil who conjures a woman. In a nostalgic scene to film Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, Chris Pratt returned to Maui in Hawaii, where he lived in a van 20 years before the film. In the film Moonlight, Naomi Harris confessed in an interview that she filmed all her scenes in the film in just 3 days because she had visa problems. And the most surprising thing is that she was still nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. The famous singer Whitney Houston was a producer of the film The Princess Diaries, and there she met the famous actress Anne Hathaway. The famous actor Leonardo DiCaprio was about to play Max in Hocus Pocus, but finally rejected the role to film This Boy's Life and What's Eating Gilbert Grape, a decision that led to his first Oscar nomination. The role of Max in Hocus Pocus ended up in the hands of Omri Katz. In the iconic attic scene from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, Tippi Hedren faced a terrifying experience. Live birds were strapped to her, and more were thrown at her while filming. This was due to an unexpected change in the original plan, which called for fake birds. In an unfortunate mix-up during the filming of The Hateful Eight, Kurt Russell ended up smashing a 140-year-old guitar instead of the props that had been set up for the scene. Novelist Truman Capote creator of Breakfast at Tiffany's, was not satisfied with Audrey Hepburn's portrayal of Holly Golightly in the film version. His original wish was for Marilyn Monroe, who ultimately declined the role, to play the character. The year 1935 marked a milestone in film history with the release of Becky Sharp, the first color film. Becky Sharp stands out for its captivating narrative and impeccable production. The story revolves around Becky Sharp, an ambitious young woman who seeks to climb the social ladder in 19th century England. It was nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. In The Wizard of Oz, the actor who played the Cowardly Lion, Bert Lahr, wore a lion's suit made of real fur. This suit weighed about 45 kilograms and was extremely uncomfortable. Sylvester Stallone went to the hospital during the filming of Rocky IV, released in 1985, due to an injury caused by Dolph Lundgren, who played Ivan Drago in the film. During the fight scene between Rocky Balboa and Ivan Drago, Lundgren hit Stallone so hard in the chest that Stallone suffered a severe heart attack and was in intensive care for 9 days. In the film E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the candy that E.T. eats in the Halloween scene is a Reese Pieces brand of chocolate candy from the Hershey Company. The candy brand paid Universal Studios $1 million for advertising. A year later, sales of these candies increased by 63%. In the film The Man in the Iron Mask, Leonardo DiCaprio played both Louis XIV and his twin brother, the prisoner in the Iron Mask. To differentiate himself, DiCaprio wore a curlier wig for the king and a straighter one for the prisoner. In 2003, Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away became the first and only non-Western animated film to win an Oscar for Best Animated Feature. This film was Japanese. Sam Raimi, known for directing the original Spider-Man trilogy, has a peculiar tradition, including a lucky car in each of his films. This vehicle, an Oldsmobile Delta, has made cameos in films as diverse as Evil Dead, Darkman, Spider-Man, and even in his Western, The Quick and the Dead, where its presence seems incongruous with the period. The scene in Forrest Gump, in which Jenny Curran is lying on the ground outside her house, is inspired by the famous painting Christina's World by Andrew Wyeth. In the memorable scene in Speed, where Keanu Reeves runs towards the mine bus, an accidental crash by the actor into the door shattered the glass. Far from discarding the shot, director Jan de Bont kept it for the final version of the film. The horsehead scene in the film, The Godfather, is considered one of the most memorable and shocking in film history. However, what many don't know is that the horsehead used in the scene was real. Director Francis Ford Coppola, seeking greater realism, decided to replace the fake head that had been originally planned with that of a real horse. Actor John Marley, who played Woltz, was not informed of the change, so his shocked reaction is genuine. In the film Psycho, director Alfred Hitchcock appears in the film, making a cameo by walking right through the window at the beginning of the film. Although Audrey Hepburn is remembered as an icon of elegance and style, there are rumors that during the filming of Roman Holiday, she had a secret affair with her co-star, Gregory Peck. Hepburn was married at the time, but she and Peck maintained a platonic and professional relationship. Although Tom Cruise is known for his roles in action films such as Top Gun and Mission Impossible, his first film role was in Endless Love, a love film where he played a supporting character. Gene Wilder accepted the role of Willy Wonka in the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory only if he was allowed to give the character a personal touch. For example, in this scene, he wanted him to limp out of the factory and then surprise everyone with an unexpected somersault. No one knows if he is lying or telling the truth. A little secret behind Call Me By Your Name. In the fireplace scene, Timothée Chalamet was wearing a hearing aid. Its purpose? Listening to the song that appears in the movie and being able to react to it naturally. In order to make it invisible, it was removed with a CGI program. On the set of Sherlock Jr., there's a scene where Buster Keaton is hit by a jet of water with such force that he fractures his neck. Despite the blow, he felt no pain and continued filming the movie. Years later, an X-ray revealed a shocking surprise, a neck fracture dating back to that time. And that's all, folks. If you want part 2 of 50 surprising movie facts, don't forget to subscribe. See you soon back on Zarpato.